Good morning, Jill here on a Saturday morning, feeling so grateful that I'm in my studio and that I have time and resources to do this art and making videos. Today, I really didn't know what to do. I was inspired by a video by Jean Larson. When I edit this, I'll put her name up on the screen for you to see. She recently did a video on how to make your own table easel. And it's really simple. It's a tri-fold piece of cardboard and it's got different heights. So you put it on your table, and she works wet on wet watercolor a lot, so she needs her board to be tilted. And I know often when I draw faces and my paper, my journal, whatever is flat, my perspective is wrong. And they say you should be looking at it even more like this. But for this size board and this size paper, this gives me about this much of a tilt. There's a few different things I could have done just by means of discussion. This is just a regular Canson XL pad. I could have used it right on the pad, right? But since I'm doing drippy work, I didn't want it to drip on the other pages. The other thing I was kicking around was just using the empty back of one of those pads. Because see, then I could tape a smaller piece of paper right to that. I don't know if it would work though when it gets wet. So you can see you make your triangle different sizes so you have different heights to prop your board on. So anyway, check out her video. Not only did she make this cool little table easel, pardon me, she did a quick demonstration of wet on wet, and hers was a landscape, rather abstract. It was beautiful, and the whole time she was making it, I was thinking, oh, that would be a girl's hair. So let's try that today. I am using, now she used watercolor, sepia, acrylic ink, and granulating medium, and then a couple of other colors, I guess of watercolor. But today I'm going to be trying a painting with my fountain pen ink. These are the different inks I put in my fountain pens. This is Noodler's Sunrise. It's a yellow. This is the Platinum Earth Brown Mixable, one of my favorite colors. And this is my brand new ink, Jock Herbin Rouge Hematite. It is an iridescent. Every time I use it, I have to shake it up to get all that out of the bottom. It's beautiful. It's very red. So I put those three into my little porcelain palette so I wouldn't contaminate my bottles. I don't know if I have enough out or too much. We shall see. And let's start. So all she did, she works wet on wet. So she sprayed a pretty generous amount of water. I'm going to use a big soft brush, and I'm going to start with my Rouge Hematite. Let's see, this is going to be bold and dark. Oh, I can tell I have too much ink out in my dish. I'm going to let it run and fit a face underneath, however it works. Let's add a little more. That drip's going the wrong way. We want you to go this way. Maybe I added too much water. Okay, let's add. I'm going to rinse my brush out. It's hard to get that ink out of the brush. And I'm going to add some of this Earth Brown Mixable. Let's see. I don't really want a head shape up here. Looks like I didn't get any water up in that part. I want it to be very abstract. Let's see. Now these inks aren't permanent. When they dry, they will re-wet. So when I go to put in the face, I have to decide what I want to do, how I want to do that. If I treat it like a watercolor face, it will just activate these inks. So I'm not sure how that's going to work. Once again, this is another experiment. Add a little touches. Ooh, I like the Noodler's yellow. Now it looks like horns. Let's add. Interesting, huh? We can go back to a little bit of brown down here. I'm not liking two places. Let me see if I can pick some up with a dry brush. It's a little too dark there for me. And this line here is a little too dark. Let me see if I can. I feel like while I do this, I should do a few more since I have all this ink out. I have a feeling I should let it dry. Before I go, though, to let this dry, and I'm going to do my best to not use a heat gun on it. I'm going to let it dry naturally. I want to do a little bit of, I don't know if that's going to show or not. That might have made it look a little messy, I don't know. Yeah. Pick it up and let it run the rest of the way. I didn't leave a lot of area for a face, huh? But I'm not sure what I'm going to do in here. While I am here, maybe I should make some marks. I have a stick from out in the yard. Let's see. I'll take some of the earth brown. She does, if you watch Jean Lerson's video, she does beautiful marks with sticks. Now, she was doing a landscape like trees. I just want to make some interesting marks. As you can tell, I'm thinking about wavy hair. All right, let me let it dry. Let's see what happens. Okay, the second I turned the camera off, I looked at mine and felt like I had gone too far. I put way too much, went too far down the page. So I quickly grabbed just a plain sheet of watercolor. It's not even taped down. I used my leftover ink and I did a landscaped. You know what I mean. I turned the paper sideways. And I followed a little more towards what Jean Lerson did. It's sort of mine kind of looks like an alien landscape up there, and it leaves a lot more room for a face. So let's let these two dry. I'll have a couple versions, and look, I used up most of my ink, so I didn't waste anything. I will be back. Okay, so this is where we stand. This is pretty well dry. It didn't buckle too badly. Well, it did buckle, but it flattened back out. If I tilt it a little, can you see the shimmer from that Rouge Hematite? So I have this big one. To put a face in here, her eyes are going to have to go up really basically on top of this. This is just not enough space for a face for me. I'm going to try it, but I don't know if that's the one I'm going to do first. This is the way the second one came out. It was warping really badly, so I quick taped it down to a piece of glass. I hope it's not too late. This is my glass I use to cut stencils with a heat tool. It feels a little weird to have glass on top of that, like, you know, like I'm afraid to press on it too hard or snap it. And that glass seems to be reflecting the light in, let me put some more tape here so it doesn't reflect the light in the camera. All right. Then I got a little carried away. I did a third one. I got out one of these Strathmore watercolor postcards, and I did a little postcard. I still had enough ink in there to do that. So let's start with this one. I think I will stop and see if I can bring the camera in a little closer. Hold on. That gives you a closer view of what I'm doing. And really, I don't know what I'm doing right now. I don't have a reference picture. So I'm just going to, I would like to be bold and brave and go straight in. I have 3 fountain pens out. This Dragon one has the Rouge Hematite ink in it. This TWSBI has the Earth Brown mixable. I don't have one pen for some reason that has the Noodler Sunrise. So I have it out here, and I'll use a dip pen, which I didn't grab. Shoot, hold on. There it is. There's my dip pen. And I put some fresh Noodler's Sunrise in my little tray there. So I'll use the dip pen for that. And then I'm not sure where I'm going with this. I did get out the only pen I have black in, which is my Jane Davenport, and it's a very super fine tip. So let's get started. Some people have expressed that they really enjoy watching the actual drawing of faces. So let me give this a try for you. I'm going to start with, I think I want to put her eyes right here. Just some simple guidelines so I get everything straight. All right, now this hair is going to really encroach on her eye. So let's see. Both sides, I guess the hair is coming over. So there's some quick eyes. I think she's going to be sort of looking over here. I tend to always start with the eyes. Although, I guess my last video, I started with the shape of the face, didn't I? With this close of eyebrows and this big of eyes, she's not going to have a very big eye line here. Let's put it in kind of. Now, I shouldn't really probably draw this dark. My pencil lines are more likely to show, but for you to see them, it's got to be a little darker. This is a Black Wing Palomino. My daughter-in-law got it as part of my Mother's Day gift. It's one of those glows in the dark. After you turn the lights out, your pencil glows a beautiful green. It's very cool. All right, so in order for her to be looking over here, I got to make sure her pupils are okay. So her nose. Just very simple. Kind of just a lip line. I'm not going to put much of an upper lip in with pencil. I'll be doing that with the ink. Nice round bottom lip. Scribbly, scratchy, nothing Let's bring her chin around and up. I think I'm going to let this side go. And I'm not sure what I'm going to do with all this white space. Something in me already tells me I want to doodle this in black and white. So my decision right now is, do I do her face in color, colors that match this, or do I do her face in black and white and keep this section of the picture all black and white and this color? It's a decision I have to make here in the next minute or so while I erase my guidelines. I do like working on the angle, not flat on the table. Tell me how many of you work that way. I know Christy Sobolewski, who I religiously follow, I believe she uses a pool noodle on her table. She has shown us before. So I'm going to clean this up and I gotta go. I have to pick which one it's going to be. I am going to go with the same colors. Let me use my Dragon fountain pen. This is very heavy. I love it. I got it because I'm a Game of Thrones fan, and I bought this towards the end of the last season. It's very heavy with the back posted on it, though. Too heavy, so I take the back off. So let's put in this is just the first layer. I'm sure the earth brown is going to go in here as well. This is another very powerful ink. It will explode with water, so I really don't have to put a whole lot. It's our lip line. Our lower lip. I'm going to do this and just brush that out with the pen. I think I'm going to switch to my earth brown for this edge of her face. Oops, got a double line there. It will brush out. No worries. I'm going to put before we start blending, I'm going to put a little bit of the earth brown in here. It looks rather scratchy and ugly right now. I hope it comes out smooth. All right, shall we go with that? Let's see what happens. All right, I'm going to use, I'm going to use this big brush. It holds a lot of water, but it does have a fine point. Let me get a towel, because it's really important how much water I have in my brush at different times. So I'm going to wet, brush it off on the edge of the jar. Let's see. Now see, I started with just the brown ink, but then it started pulling some of that red in, which is nice because it pinked up her face a bit there on the side. I'm going to go back in and, oh, I caught her eye. Smooth that edge out a little. While this is still relatively wet, I'm going to smooth this edge out. This is where I got to be careful. This brush holds a lot of water. All right. I don't want perfectly smooth, obviously, because of the way the top is rather abstract and loose, but I don't want her to look like she has a mustache either. I'm just moving around different places. There's no rhyme or reason as to where I go next on the painting. It just is what it is. All I can say is it's kind of instinct, depending on how much color I have in my brush, where I feel like maybe it needs to be put back down, when I need to clean my brush out and start fresh. I couldn't tell you how I make those decisions. It's just a matter of practicing with a method until you have a feel for it. Now, I can bring back the whites in her eyes. I'm not worried. I can use a little gouache. I can use a little acrylic ink, because right now I'm losing quite a bit of the whites in her eyes, but I'm not worried. Somehow, I sort of semi-dropped my brush and got a dab of something right there. There, I can go back, darken up some spots. I've got some pencil marks showing. I'm not going to let that bother me. Piece of something there. That'll come off when it's dry. All right. All right. I hit her real quick with the heat gun. It wasn't super wet. It didn't take long. I also used the pencil eraser and took some of the obvious pencil marks out, particularly in her eyes and the white parts of her eyes. So now it's time to firm it up a little. I'm going to go back in with the darkest red. I'm not quite sure. She looks like she's looking that way, but it's okay. She still looks good. Okay, as that dries, I really think I would like to put in some touches of yellow somewhere. I'm not sure where, though. Maybe a little highlight of yellow. Oh, that's nice. Look how that brings your eyes out. Is it risky to put a little highlight on her nose. No, she looks a little sun-kissed, right? Okay. I didn't get out my white gouache. I don't even have room on my table for it. Let's see. I need a really fine brush. There we go. I'm going to put a little bit of white gouache right there. I'm not sure we need much anywhere else. There's enough there. It takes a couple of layers because the ink seeps right back up through it. All right. I think that's all I'm going to do on her face. Now I have to decide what I want to do with some of this. Alright, now we're coming back to the first one I did, and off camera I sketched in a quick little face. I don't know if you want to watch me do both of these or not. I could have done the whole thing off camera. I'm basically doing the same thing, except the background runs way into her face on this one, like I talked about earlier. But it's the same method. So let's see. I can see some of the brown marks I made with the twig, and I'm liking those, but I have a feeling in order for any of that to really work, I'm going to have to go over it maybe with a white Posca pen. So let's see how that happens, how that works. The nose. Her mouth. The other girl, I moved to the earth brown for the edges of her face, but I want her to match this background a lot more, so I'm putting in a bunch of red here to outline her. I don't know if she's going to have a dress or a shirt or a doodle design down there. I just don't know. Is that enough? We shall see. Her eyes appear uneven because of the way the background comes in. I'll use my big brush again. It's almost not wet enough. Get a little more water. Okay. Interesting. I don't like the way I can see the graphite lines through her eyes. I think I'll go back in with some earth brown. It's still a little wet, unfortunately. Let's see. Parts of her face disappear into her hair and you're not sure what is what, and that's okay by me. I don't know where to go next. I don't like... I'm going to get a smaller brush for a little more control. I don't like the line of her chin at all. Let's see. Now it's just crooked. I think I can grab a little bit of earth brown out of my tray and use it to shade under here. Yes. It's nice those paints dry on the tray, but they're rewettable paints, fountain pen inks. All right. Give that a quick dry with my heat gun. Oh no, wait a minute. Now I'll give it a quick dry with my heat gun and I'll be right back. Alright, so this is where we're at. I'm afraid I'm going to ruin her with this, but hey, she needs something. I love the marks that look like her hair, but I think it needs something else. So I'm going to try with this Posca pen. Just make some loose lines. What do you think? I can use the same pen to make these highlights in her eyes. Bring back a little bit of the white. I got her chin entirely too pink with all that messing around with it, so I can add a little white back in that way. I don't know how I feel about her. Alright, I am back. It's now Sunday. I took the rest of the day off yesterday after filming and went to the pool with the grandkids and did a live stream last night and thought a lot about these pieces that I've got going. I'm really unhappy with this one. I almost consider this a fail, and I don't know why. It's just bothering me. But I have an idea. Let me go over everything I have first. This one I did at the pool. Let me get rid of this. I finished her up at the pool, and I'm really pleased with her. She's simple. It's a postcard. Perfect. Gonna leave her alone. She's done. I'll show you a close-up of that at the end. And this one I'm happy with. But it doesn't feel done. She's going to have something. I think what I'm going to do is off camera, doodle all up in here, and maybe add some doodling down here. I like the sheen, I like the composition, but it just seems lacking. So what I'm going to do first, and I'm sure I will, oh, I'm sorry, I just bumped the camera. It's really low with this filming angle. I'm going to speed the next part up, okay? But I'm going to cut her down to an 8x10. I'm not liking all this extra space, so I'll speed this up and cut her down. I'll be back. Alright, so here we are. I cut her down, and as you can see, I had to cut the white borders off because if I cut the top only on one side, she'd have an odd 2 white borders, so she needed to be even all around. I like her a lot better already with all that extra cut off, but she definitely needs something down here, and I really don't know what. So I'm going to be bold, and I'm going to start by adding some of the Noodler's Yellow. Let's see. Just give her some sort of shirt. And right now it's extremely bright. So, how about I try toning some down with the brown. There. I also am considering taking some of the straight brown while that dries, so I think I'm going to do some doodling on top of that. I'm going to pick out some sections of her hair and paint them in dark. Okay, I think she is done. What do you think? So, now these two are finished. You notice she doesn't have really any yellow in her showing. These two are finished. My last one is this one. And like I said, I think I'll be taking her to the sofa and doodling her in comfort. I will show you a finished version when it's all done. See you soon. Okay, so let's wrap up this incredibly long video. I'm sorry some of it was really slow. I have faith that you all have the ability to fast forward through the parts that get tedious. My 3 girls are done. I'm finished. My husband likes this one the best. I'm not so sure. She doesn't really speak to me, but it's okay. It was all a learning process. I think it's pretty cool that all 3 of these pictures were done with 3 colors of ink and then some white and nothing else. My little postcard, I love her. I'll have to send her to somebody. Either that, or hopefully I want to open an Etsy shop and start selling things on Etsy. And this girl here is actually my favorite. And my husband doesn't like her. It's his least favorite. He said he doesn't understand. He's like, well, what is this white? And why is this all white? And that's okay. He doesn't have to understand. I think she's surreal. I will give you a close-up here. I hope you can see. My hands are a little shaky. All in those top is like a little abstract landscape. Trees and bushes, and it just is what it is. I can't explain what this means to me, but I like her. She speaks to me. So, I hope you got something out of this video. Thank you, Jean Larson, for your inspiration. I give you full credit for the inspiration behind this and my new table easel. And I have been in a little bit of a slump lately, guys. This is my first video in a few weeks. I hope to get back into the swing and put out more videos. See you soon.